This is medieval Japan in Crusader Kings 3. That's right, Crusader Kings 3 All Under Heaven is finally here, and I'm collaborating with Paradox Interactive to bring you the ultimate playing toll Japan. The base game is free to play on Steam between 30th of October and November 3rd, so make sure to use my link if you'd like to grab any of the Chapter 4 expansions or the whole of the Chapter 4 itself. It would really help out the channel massively, and I would forever be in your debt. We could start as the strongest character in Japan, but considering that I actually live here, I decided to create my very own character in the daimyo where I live today. Meet Ludi. Much like Palpatine, this little Roman Shinto follower managed to somehow become a daimyo in Japan. An avid learner, Ludi decided to go for scholarship focus because of that juicy development growth. Of course, we will assign our steward to increase development in our county. Now, call me crazy, but going for a spouse with Amazonian physical trait doesn't seem like the worst idea. Sure, we can get a second spouse with Amazonian trait. We can actually have 3 secondary spouse. Okay, yeah, I really hope my wife doesn't watch this video. Is it weird that I'm married to literally 30% of my entire court? The first thing we want to have is just some good old-fashioned walls and towers to protect us from the warmongers around us. I don't trust a single one of you boys. Especially you. I don't trust you at all. I love that we also have a Gaijin Manor. Okay, maybe I should not have named my dynasty the Gaijin. Well, would you look at that? Building a rice plot's gonna grant us even more development growth, and we've solved our very first issue, getting us a reinforced garrison for 10 years in Kashima, securing our southern flank from our warmongering neighbors. We got some really awesome, unique Japanese interactions, such as performing a tea ceremony that will reduce stress, make one of our courtiers inspired, and we get tea benefit for 5 years. Let's drink some tea, shall we? A healthy cup of tea also gives disease resistance significant boost. Another great perk to go for is plant cultivation, which increases development and county efficiency by 20%. I'm also going to be putting my foot down, and I'm going to try and convert everybody to Shinto. There's too many people around my court that are not fully embracing the real religion here. Speaking of, half of Japan is not embracing the one true religion, so we might need to fix that. Another great building that helps us with increasing our development is the trade port, which does cost a little bit of money, so we had to save up for it. Also, upgrading our rice plot to level 2 again doubles down on the development growth. After living in Japan for at least 10 years, we learned the Japanese language. That's more than I can say for myself. Bruh. And we also seem to have a witch amongst us. Well, you know what? We might be able to use this later down the line. Tenant farmers is also going to give us not only more domicile income, but also growth in realm capital plus 0.05 flat, which means it gets affected by the percentage modifiers afterwards. We're also trying to fill up all of the court positions, but we don't really have that many great courtiers, to be fair. An entire 1 development increase for the cost of 5 control. It might be worth it. We're already up to 10 development now, and almost about to get 11 development. Remember that we start off with like 7 development, so this is honestly not the worst thing. Sure, we're not on the level of Italy, but we're working our way on it. Nobody said this is gonna be easy. Meanwhile, in the rest of Asia, Tang has completely consolidated its realms. In the southeast of Asia too, Srivijaya is still the leading empire, and in the old European realms, Aquitaine is definitely coming up right next to West Francia, whilst the Al-Andalusians are still in control of most of Iberia. Suffice to say, no major changes have happened so far within Europe. Okay, so I've actually changed my mind. I don't want my county to be Shugendo religion. I want it to be Shinto, so I'm converting it back, which means we lose the 1 development. Don't do what I just did. That's just, it's a waste of time. We've attained our first big lifestyle trait, a scholar, which means we get development growth and decline, both of which are going to come in massive handy. Now, I've also thought about it, and I think it's a good idea for me to abandon the Roman ways and embrace the Japanese ways. After all, it would make our life a lot easier. We've got a 1,000 prestige, which is what we need in order to adopt the Yamato culture. That way we get some amazing clothing, that's for sure, but more importantly, we're now a part of the Yamato culture, so innovations wise, we have access to a lot of the Asian specific innovations. I guess it took a while for a foreigner like us to get fully accepted within the Japanese realm, but now we're technically 100% Japanese, am I right? We also seem to be getting a lot of achievements during this particular playthrough. Our heir Gaijin Ludi is finally 18, so we can get him a nice wife. We're also visiting our liege at the Grand Court of the Empire of Japan, and in exchange for our hook on him, we get appointed succession, a fair trade, some would say. An army of 400 men for just 50 gold. That is actually a fair trade. Speaking of military units, we also have unique men-at-arms regiments, the warrior monks, as well as the mounted samurai that deal 96 damage, 34 toughness, and have some insane terrain effects. They are, however, extremely expensive, so we're gonna have to save up before we actually start recruiting any mounted samurai. Warrior monks, however, only cost piety, so we can afford at least one regiment of warrior monks. We reached 12 development, almost doubled our starting development, and we're getting 3.0 development growth from all of these stacked up modifiers. If we look at the development in our adjacent neighbors' lands, they're all way below us right now. We are the shining beacon of economy within Japan. The only one that can catch up to us is probably the Emperor, which has 13 development. Okay, yeah, we gotta work on it. We're right behind them, but we will overtake them eventually because I believe they do start with 13 development. In good old medieval style, we're gonna ensure that we get some alliances from marrying off our daughters. Japan is divided, and we decided to join the Montoku bloc, which seems, at least at surface value, to be the stronger of the blocks. Also, we got our very first dynasty legacy, and considering we've got 15 children right now, it's only fitting that we go for bunches loins. That would absolutely describe our legacy best. Since the start of the campaign, this is the very first time that we actually have a complete court, which means we're getting a lot of extra bonuses, such as more development growth in our capital. We're also going to be commissioning an armor, a laminar armor to be more exact. Right now we only have the lucky falconry gloves that we managed to get from one of the celebrations. We're also up to 17 development now, and we're increasing by 3.6 monthly with 0 decline. Oh my god, look at all these juicy modifiers piling up. Despite not being the leader of the Matsura block, we are by levies the strongest daimyo within the block, so we might make a little bit of a power play of ourselves. Let's see what happens. It's also time that we start expanding a little bit around the Japanese Isles. The first target is going to be on the other side of the Isles from us. We'll be enforcing administrative integration, which means that all of Soryo Hironiwa's lands will be confiscated and returned to the Kampaku. We've got 1,000 soldiers altogether, 300 monks, as well as 700 levies. Also, our laminar armor has finished construction, which is going to give us 1 prowess and 0.09 prestige a month, as well as 1% levy contribution for 67 years. Overall, the DLC really does a great job at immersing you into a proper Japanese game. I absolutely love the way that the sprites in Japan interact with each other when they're fighting. This is so immersive in my opinion. Alright, that was a clear win, which means we can now enforce our demands, which is the administrative integration of Hyuga. That means that the Empire of Japan directly controls Hyuga now. Seeing as we now have a hook on our liege, we can ask him to modify provincial administration and choose the industrial type, which again doubles down on development growth by 15%. We actually don't even need to use the hook, and they probably would still accept. They got 103 acceptance. I'm gonna try without the hook first. There you go, it's done. We're now an industrial type of subject. I also believe I've got enough influence to ask a council position from my liege. 87% chance of accepting. Please, please, please accept. I've been denied with 87%. Oh, come on. I guess I might as well use my hook to influence candidacy now. That's still not enough, so we're gonna try and use some of our influence to increase our Chiho of Mutsu succession chance. Let's go back and see where we're at now. So now if we click on Chiho of Mutsu, we are the primary heir, which means whenever the 75-year-old world's gonna die, we should technically inherit Mutsu off of them. This is the best part about playing in Japan. You don't really need warfare when you can just do politics to grab lands. We also can see that the Chiho of Mutsu is a very sought after position, and we're only 20 above the other candidates, so we gotta be careful here. We might need to invest a little bit more just to make sure we don't lose Mutsu, because Mutsu is a big deal. That's like 4 counties altogether that we would have afterwards. Also, let's check our development map mode again. We're at 18. Everybody else is around 13, 11, 9. The more developed areas are the ones around Kyoto, which have 14 development. So that is the second highest development in Japan afterwards. We have entered the early medieval era, so that means we have new innovations now. If we go to the Yamato innovations, starting from the year 913, we have the option of researching a lot of different new innovations. We also can create a legend of the keeper of the Shinto holy shrine ourselves. It's going to cost 240, and promoting it will be 4.8 monthly, so it's actually not the worst idea. The land of Kashima is one of the highest pious values, and from its soil it's said to spring miraculous water capable of curing all maladies. When Kokushi Ludi heard of this, he felt a great warmth in his heart, for his devotion was so great that the mere thought of a holy place made him tear up. Ludi devoted himself to Amaterasu and acted entirely for her will. Every Shintoist wandered the land with the name Ludi on their lips, telling tales of countless holy happenings in his name. Of course, famous. Speaking of, in Kashima, we actually can create the Grand Temple. We just need 650 gold, so we need to save up a little bit more money. This will give us 2 gold a month as tax, which is an insane amount, as well as development growth 0.15 with a 20% development growth modifier. Fun fact, I actually have visited Kashima a few times IRL, and it is definitely... What is happening here? Why do I have naked people in front of my eyes? I was going to say it's definitely checking out. Well, boys, we might have had a good run, but I think it's about to end because the plague has struck, and it is literally at our doorsteps. We've also spent a ridiculous amount of influence just so we can become the next in line of succession for the Empire of Japan itself. We're abandoning Mutsu altogether simply because, well, it's not as important as the Empire of Japan is it now? Might as well give it a shot since Mutsu is gonna live forever. This man is already 81 and has no thought about even passing away. I mean, he's even got the plague in his lands and he's still surviving. Can someone explain what this kind of individual eats for lunch? I need some of that. Oh my god! We just got the Kampaku's court. Okay, I did not actually expect that this would work, but I guess we can tour the royal palace. Kampaku Gaijin Ludi of Japan, this is you! Also, can we appreciate the fact that Paradox has done an amazing job portraying a historically accurate Japanese court? I've visited a few of these places throughout my years living in Japan, and I have to say this is exactly how they depict them. All of the oldest ones that are preserved from a very long time ago are basically a copy of this court that we have in front of us. Let's go ahead and assign our court artifact. We can also sponsor an inspiration for an armor. I would love to have a secondary armor for my son. Our court is also 10th in the world. We're definitely spending a lot of money. 9 gold a month just for all of the amenities is actually a lot. Hey, I got rags to riches achievement. I think this is actually the first time that I start as a lowborn and become the emperor, so that's awesome to see. We are super over our domain limit though, so I'm gonna give my son some of these domains. This one we're gonna directly grant to our son, and apparently bodyguard as well. There you go, he gets to become a vassal. He's not just a regular bodyguard anymore. Kokoshu Gaijin Alexander. What a name. What an actual name. Same here. This holding we're just gonna directly grant to another one of our sons, Anastasius. Classic Japanese name also, of course. Oh, I forgot I had another son, Sabianus. Let's give him actually this holding directly. Might as well, since we're over the domain limit. I love the fact that whenever my daimyos go to war, what happens is the land goes to me as the emperor rather than another one of the daimyos, and then I get to decide who that domain goes to after they've quote-unquote liberated it from their fellow subjects. This definitely is a very unique type of playstyle that they have for Japan, and I am honestly really enjoying it. The best part about it is that I'm literally giving my sons and my grandsons all of these realms, so by the time that I pass away, my children and grandchildren are likely gonna own around half of the Japanese islands. Now I'm thinking maybe I should have kept Roman culture and we could have converted all of Japan to Roman and reestablished the Roman Empire here. That would have been so funny. The Hizen earthquake. The Earth's wrath is here. The destruction triggers a devastating chain of events with fires and civil unrest breaking out. Brave souls attempt to save those under the rubble. A staple of Japanese life. Earthquakes are something that have occurred since time immemorial. This has crushed our control in certain parts of our country. We also have lost quite a few characters, including Lady Nagiko and a few of the daimyos under us. Development is also massively reduced in a couple of our kunis, and even more characters have passed away. The death toll are actually crazy now that I think about it. We now have access to the unique earthquake reliefs. We can fund debris removal, housing reconstruction, refugee redistribution, aid for victims, and I believe we're out of money, so perhaps we could ask for potential contributors for some of these. Apparently they would accept even without us using any sort of a hook. Actually, contributors are literally doing everything. Look at that. I didn't pay a single cent. My daimyos have decided to sponsor everything. See, right there, that is the spirit of Japan. It's the people that always help each other. They totally didn't do it for the bonuses, okay? We have upgraded the legendary chronicle of the keeper of the Shinto holy site. In the vast expanse of Kokushiludi's travels, he stumbled upon a breathtaking wonder that defied earthly bounds, a place where the beauty of nature intertwined seamlessly with human ingenuity. Towering spikes of exquisite craftsmanship reach towards the heavens, their graceful forms bathed in the soft glow of dawn's first light. So I'm gonna say it, I got dyslexia. I had to read this 4 times. I hope you guys are proud of me. I think it's time that we complete our legend that will give us 200. The miracle of Kampaku Ludi is finalized. We can now start another legend actually if we wanted to. The keeper of the Shinto holy site has pretty much spread to the southern extremities, not so much to the northern part of the islands. We finally saved up enough money to build the grand temple. I've also been working hard to spread the Shinto faith around the Japanese islands, so I guess you could really call me the papi of the Shintos. Half of the daimyos have already converted and are starting to convert their respective domains to Shinto. Most cases, it really just takes a little bit of influence to get them to become Shinto. The truth is there really is a lot of different religious affiliations within Japan, and we want to make it a unified place. One religion, one culture, one people. Seeing as I'm also the leader of our particular culture, I've changed our focus to manorialism, which will allow us to start building the early medieval era economic buildings. We're basically locked behind this one innovation right now. It's absolutely mind-blowing that I'm able to give my great-grandson a domain now. I am literally the most nepotistic leader in Japanese existence. I am not even exaggerating when I say that about 15 of the domains are ruled by my children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren right now. It is absolutely insane to see how many of my subjects are still not Shinto. Like, what is happening here? I really need to double down on this, don't I? Look at this! This guy also, he's Pundarika. No! We don't want you to be Pundarika. You need to be Shinto like everyone else. The greatest of all Kampakus or regions has passed away. Ludi feels bad, man. His son takes over now, with the House of Gaijin being by far the strongest house within the Japanese realms. 33 living members. Remember, we started with 0 and we created this entire dynasty from scratch. I'm curious if you can still see a little bit of that Latin blood inside of these great-grandchildren. The greatest achievement, though, for Kampaku Ludi is the fact that we now have almost all of Japan Shinto, with only a few of the daimyos still following what I consider heretical religions. Now, aside from Japan, the rest of the world is getting embroiled in war. Korea divided in half, Tang completely disappeared, Yue is now the dominant empire in China, Pagan also appeared in Southeast Asia, rivaling Sriwijayavajaba, which has completely consolidated its hold and centralized around Indonesia. Somehow India is more divided too. Makran became the dominant power in Persia. The Byzantines are also still standing. That is a surprise. Burgundy is a massive blob in the southern parts of France, overtaking Aquitaine and Gascony. And Asturias has got half of the Iberian Peninsula, pushing back Al-Andalus. Whilst the Swedes are busy taking over the English Isles, which apparently they also divide between themselves and the Scottish. In Central Europe, Bavaria is dominant, as is Poland out of all nations, and the various Romanian principalities have also sprung out, with Moldova having a big chunk of land. Culture-wise, however, they are Magyar, not actually Vlach, and apparently Galatian is also a culture. What? That is wild to see, because I am originally from Galatz, the city over here. I would imagine this is a breakaway culture from Vlach. And what on earth is Norse doing in the middle of Khazaria? As you would expect from the Japanese nobles, they started a civil war the second that I came to power. Luckily for us, we managed to defeat these scum, and we can enforce our demands. Revolts have no place in my country. Soryo Tsunenaga is going to spend quite a little bit of time in jail as consequence. We are unfortunately entering a warrior period with a lot of different claimants to become the regent of Japan. Speaking of, the way the Japanese system works is we have an emperor or a tenno who technically is the leader of the Japanese Isles, and we are simply the regent family that is in charge of controlling the country in the name of the emperor, so it's exactly how it was historically for Japan. We also have the option of appointing our family members in various positions and for various titles around Japan. We have two ways of doing this, either promoting a scheme that would promote these family members to taking over charge of various parts of the country, or we can find them appointment, and then based on the influence, they will eventually become the heir to that particular county or position. Now, our influence is very limited right now. Unlike the original OG Ludi, we only are getting 7.16 a month, so we have to double down and use schemes a lot more than we just use influence in this reign. Also, the best part is from that civil war, we got an extra couple of holdings, so now we have the decision of who are we going to give these holdings to. We have right now 4 sons, so once these children grow up, they are going to get each at least one of the holdings. As for the rebellious nobles, there's only one thing we can do with them. We have to burn them at the stake, just so we send a message. Alternatively, if we do a public execution, we get popular opinion plus 15, so maybe that's the better way of handling this. The third option would also just be to revoke the title and keep them in prison forever. The Japanese also have 2 main types of subjects, the Ritsuryo, which is government-appointed officials, and the Soryo, which is the actual feudal nobles around our country. As such, laws also affect these 2 types of subjects differently. For example, if we were to change the imperial policy from manor reform to imperial pacification, which would allow us to do external wars, it would impact our administrative vassals a lot more, as they lose 35 opinion, whilst the feudal vassals would be pretty much okay with it. Now, in order to attack the northern parts of Honshu as well as Hokkaido, we do need to change that particular legislation, but for now we still need to do a few extra reforms within Japan itself before we start expanding into the rest of the isles. We also have the option of turning the more powerful feudal lords into administrative lords after we've imprisoned them, so if she accepts, then she can come out of prison. Hey, what a great decision. Of course you have no choice. Another day, another rebellion. This time, however, we outnumbered them by quite a lot, so we should have an easy time winning against the rebellious scum. The size of the battles has increased dramatically though, Now we got up to 10,000 soldiers on either side compared to the 1,000 we had just a few years ago. Great Battle of Huga has been victorious for us. 37 war score. We still have a little bit of way to go before we win this though. And victory is ours after we've captured the ones in charge of the rebellion. Because we are within a block, we cannot upgrade our house aspiration. But what we can do instead is we can change to the house leader's aspiration, which is the prosperity one. And actually I like this one more because as we progress, we also get development growth flat by 0.20 per month on level 2 aspiration. And then for level 3, it doubles down and just makes our holdings a lot stronger. So let's go ahead and use our prestige to change our house aspiration, as well as we can get constant care that gives an extra medium boost to health as our third dynasty's legacy. I actually adore the fact that all 4 of the people vying for the line of succession for the Empire of Japan are relatives of mine. Half-brother, nephew, and son. I absolutely love nepotism. Once again, our lands are getting ravaged by yet another disease. Just another day living in the Middle Ages. It's also time that we upgrade our house's aspiration to level 2, which means we get the 0.20 monthly development growth and construction time reduction. We did have to leave our house block as our aspirations did not match, so we're going to join another more powerful block, the Takezaki block. Right now, the Takezaki block owns about half of the domains within Japan itself. And the second strongest after us is Saga, which has 3,000 levies, of which 2,000 mercenaries. They're getting ready to do something, aren't they? Another amazing thing we can do is ask all of our subjects to improve development. Now, the thing is, they need to have a specific title rank in order to enforce development. Otherwise, we just assign them to other various tasks, such as converting to the faith, which actually is going to help us quite a bit. We still have not everything converted to Shinto, and heresies are still happening every once so often, so we need to really get rid of them. Oh, I'm sorry, did we have 5 seconds without a rebellion? Well, fear not, because another one just popped up. And just as fast as the old rebellions, the new one has also been crushed. Honestly, having 22 development and still getting 2.1 development growth monthly is pretty huge. But there is a stark difference between our realms, because check out the northern parts of our island. They're around 4 to 3 to 5 development. It is absolutely pathetic. Since we do have a lot of money, we're going to recruit another mounted samurai regiment. Upgrade this one also to a maximum size. That way, for future wars, we should have an easier time crushing the rebellions. We finally got manorialism, so we can start making some upgrades to our buildings. For the Gaijin Manor, we can get the family brewery, which again doubles down on development growth, and we have an extra slot afterwards, which we can use for the personal workshop. We also managed to convince a few of our subjects to start developing their land, so we see a lot more provinces having between 15 to 20 development already, with our primary hold having 24, about to reach 25 any moment now. In China, the rise of Lingnan has taken everybody by surprise, because I didn't even know they existed before this. The Seljuks also have started their rise in the Middle East, so the Byzantines need to watch out, because not only they have to worry about the Seljuks, but Venice, the most treacherous of beings, also has spawned. The Muslims in Iberia are taking back their lands. They even have a foothold in the southern tips of France, and similarly the Welsh are taking back what was a very long time ago theirs. Ireland formed as well, and the Swedes have been completely pushed out of the British Isles. Carpathia unified, which is a Magyar kingdom. And in Africa, the Nubians decided they want to be the new cool kids on the block, and they've conquered all of Egypt, all the way up to Syria, whilst the Arabian Empire is trapped between Nubia and the Seljuks. So far, nobody has spawned in the Mongolian areas that we need to worry about, but let's see what the future reserves. I also just realized that we had a map color change for some reason. We finished our Japanese saga with the entirety of the Japanese islands being owned by various members of our imperial family, from Kampaku Gaijin Ludi to the hundreds of members that the Gaijin dynasty managed to accrue over time. I have to say this is probably the most fun I had playing Crusader Kings 3 in a while. So if you want to have fun too and you want to explore the Asian realms, make sure to use my link to grab the DLC for yourself. I get a commission on every purchase and I would really appreciate it very much. It helps the channel massively and it lets Paradox know that it's not a bad idea sponsoring a channel like myself. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.